Harrison, runs GoHarrison.com, host of Harrison Afternoons in California. Carrie, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure. Always fun to talk to you, zany as you are, Jay.
Zany, well, that's. I've been called many things. I'll take that compared to some of the others. So let's talk about Hurricane Irene and the role of the telecom industry and the media. Who do you think did well? Who do you think needs to improve a little bit?
Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting because the FCC, which governs all of our broadcasting here, has picked radio hands down as what they think is the savior throughout the whole thing. As we know, Hurricane Irene had 65 million people in its path. This thing was the size of Europe, sitting off the eastern seaboard. Electricity went out city by city by city. Cable TV went out. People with satellite dishes had no signal because the cloud cover was so dense. But old-fashioned radio, or modern radio, whatever you want to call it, actually continued to show up. People brought out transistor radios, a Motorola, a Philco, I don't know what, but they brought out the battery-operated radios, which actually saved lives because people could still stay connected. So the invention from 100 years ago is still the number one winner at the end of the day.
Well, thank goodness, Harrison. Once we get moved past all of this with Irene and back on our feet again,
all three of them.
Yes. Tell us about the Galaxy S2. They say it's Samsung's iPhone killer. Why is that, and why will we want it?
Well, why you might want it, I'm going to go for the iPhone personally, but I'm also on T-Mobile, which means I cannot have the iPhone by law, so I am stuck with a Droid or a Galaxy phone, and I've had this version of it, but this new one is supposed to blow everyone away. It's going to have an 8-megapixel back-facing camera, a 2-megapixel front-facing. This is huge quality in taking pictures in a phone, right? It also is going to have this weird interface that's going to have a whole gigabyte of RAM. That's the memory part of a phone, a gigabyte. Now, a MacBook Pro has a gigabyte, or maybe two if you're lucky, of memory in it. This is a phone. This is massive. This thing is like walking around.
To a laptop?
Yes. The memory in the RAM memory in a MacBook Pro is 1 or 2 gigs. You can get them up to 4. You can get them up to 8 now. But in a general sense, when you bought one, say, 3 or 4 years ago, you got 1 gigabyte. Now a phone in your pocket is going to have incredible horsepower. It's also going to be the first to hit the United States smartphone market, and it's going to compete against Verizon's first dual-core LTE phone, the Droid Bionic, and Sprint's going to go neck to neck now with AT&T.
So, Carrie, with the announcement that with Steve Jobs stepping down at Apple, how does Apple come back at a time like this with an iPhone killer against an iPhone killer?
Well, here's the rumor, Jay. Sprint, which is one of the largest phone networks here, is also rumored now to start to carry the iPhone number 5, the iPhone 5. So when that comes out, Verizon's going to have it, AT&T's going to have it, and Sprint's going to have it. So Apple once again goes from a single apple in an orchard to the entire orchard.
Wow.
And will we be able to have it? Is it going to be more expensive?
When you buy it for me, I will let you use it on Thursday nights.
You're too good to me.
It's GoHarrison.com, host of Harrison Afternoons in California. Carrie Harrison, always a pleasure. Thank you, our friend.
Always fun for me.
Fun for the zaniness over here as well. Thanks, Carrie. All right, let's turn our attention to Carrie Harrison, runs GoHarrison.com.